He's just done a great job of just staying ready, always in the gym. Uh, you know, when the full team is compounded, he may not play a lot, but he understands that, and you see, hasn't really been playing much this year. Had an excellent opportunity in New York to start, and played a hell of a game. So that's just a credit to him. Obviously, him being older and understanding, but just being a professional, being a professional.
What did you see in the past couple games? New York, Utah, even the big moments last night. Because there were quite a few last night that are kind of in connective tissue. Like, what's the same thing you guys are doing?
I mean, the Utah game. The next game after that was with the Knicks. We did a great job of moving the ball, and I think in the first half of even the Sixers game, we did a good job, pretty much offensively, hanging in there and playing that way. And it got a little choppy in the second half, but it's just trying to do it consistently, playing the same way as the team in a whole, um, possession to possession, quarter to quarter, which is very tough. Not just for us, any team in the league. It's tough to do it at the highest level, but um, there's a reason why we're in the NBA. We have to try to figure that out.
Do you have any extra empathy or ship with a guy like Corey since he's not a one and done guy?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Nah, nah. I mean, everybody's race is different. Everybody's not a one and done. I know if you're blessed enough to be one and done, or 2 years. Me and him both, you know, graduated from college. That's just our path. It's nothing like a brotherhood.
Well,
4 years ago.
Yeah.
not all questions can be winners, unfortunately. In your case, when you transitioned into the league, in what ways do you feel like your transition was a little bit smoother because you had extra experience in college and because you played for a coach who knew the NBA before?
Yeah, I mean that helped out a lot. Obviously just being prepared for the NBA and my body just being a little bit, just ready. But when I came to the league, it was a lot smoother because I had a head coach that really allowed me to, just kind of just go out there and play night in, night out, right away, right off the jump with Lou Walton. I mean, that helped me out tremendously, establishing myself in the league and making a name for myself.
When you go up against physical teams like you did last night, or you did tomorrow, how much of that is like a mindset thing, and how much of that can you counter with?
I mean, when you play with a team that's really physical, you have to outsmart them, outquick them, and also you have to match that type of physicality. I think that's something that's very, very important that we did in stints versus that Sixers team. They had a lot of second chance points that led to kick out threes to Cork Maz and Seth Curry over and over again. That we can eliminate and try to be more physical in those moments. You know, especially when we're in droughts offensively, can't have those.
How about like against Miami when they challenge? What's going to be the key?
Not to get stagnant. Teams like Miami, they pack the paint and they junk the game up defensively. Just with the way that they defend, it's not really um, how most teams guard in the NBA. They blitz pick and rolls. They switch everything. They point switch, which they're really good at. They're top five defense, and for us, when teams do that, it's easy just to switch and then try to take somebody one on one. But having them cause confusion and attacking them, instead of just standing still when they switch is going to be pivotal for us.
I don't think anybody would expect run as smoothly as it would normally without the centerpiece player when Brad's been out and you have another starter out facing team. I obviously know you still just kind of go out and do your job, but how does the offense change for you? Like, do you have to do anything differently? Are you able to be more aggressive? What's different?
I gotta definitely, be more aggressive. I want to play the team game. I want to be able to get people involved. Um, play make and make other players better. But there's certain ways, I gotta, find more catch and shoot threes opportunities, and just be aggressive off the catch a little bit more. Because especially when we have guys out, we need to obviously, we need to play defense, but we have to try to score another end. And I got to just do a little better job of trying to find a little balance of, playmaking and sitting there and uh, you know, and try to attack a little bit more sometimes.
That's just telling us how he kind of simplified some certain sets on offense, especially like coming out of transition, so you can get up the floor easier and everything. I guess that was a couple weeks ago or whenever you guys were having this one thing. Does that make a difference in your opinion? That you helped?
So you saying help me or help?
Just in general?
Oh, the team. Yeah, I think in some sense, like some ways. I think the biggest thing that does help us is when we just, play point five basketball and collectively just share the ball. And make just a simple, easy pass ahead of you. I think that's the biggest thing, obviously, but um, you know, we've done a good job of, playing out of, three or four actions in our wins that have helped us, get those wins. So.
All right, Kyle, let's head over to Zoom for a couple questions. We'll start with Chase.
Hey, Kuz, you've talked about, watching film ahead of games, and it seems like you try to do your homework going in. How does that change with, the uncertainty of protocols? It looks like, Kyle Lowry actually went into protocol and just, with the own guys on your own team, not knowing who's going to play, does it kind of get thrown for a loop at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm a big fan of basketball. I watch basketball every single night. So, Miami's still, a formidable team. Obviously, you have a Tyler Hero, but you got guys like Duncan Robinson still playing, Max Strauss, a D2 guy, like a guy that's, undrafted, playing really, really well. And then, they got the Gabe Vincents of the world. Those guys, they're good basketball players. And they've been playing well with those guys out, everybody's in the league for a reason. So, you really can't take teams lightly now, because when somebody has the chance to step up, that's their moment. They want to play well. So, Miami still has a great team. They have great young players that are bought into the system that they play. Yeah, man. Yeah, we got to strap it up tomorrow.
So in that sense, do you have to prepare for more players not knowing who's going to be out there? Or is there, do you feel like you have to go deeper down the roster to know guys' tendencies, I should say?
I mean, not really. Like I said, I mean, I watch basketball all the time. So, it's kind of, when you've been in this league a long time, that's something that you kind of just understand and know year in, year out. Guys' tendencies really never really change, because that's muscle memory and what your brain and your body just kind of, just does naturally. So, once you kind of understand the guy or see a guy once or twice, you kind of know what they're trying to do. So, that just comes with watching the game, really.
Go to Neil.
Hey, Kuz, I don't think we asked you last time you spoke. I guess, how are you feeling, post your week in protocols, and, are you back to 100%? And how did you maybe try and, keep your conditioning up while you were in protocols?
Yeah, I mean, I was messed up. I was sick. And I was down for 6 days. I didn't really do anything for about 6 days. So, coming back into the first three games, what was Sac, Utah, Phoenix, I was it was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle, my breathing conditioning, because obviously, when you're sitting out during the season, uh, it's weird because we play games every other day. So when your body's has 2 days off or 3 days off, it's like, whoa, what are we doing right now? And then combat that with having COVID. I was struggling a little bit, but I think from the Nick game and even yesterday, I'm feeling pretty good about myself and my body. So,
Thanks, Coos. Glad you're feeling better.
yep, thanks.
Chase, you have another question? You good?
I'm good. Sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, Kuz, that's it. Appreciate it.
Thank everybody except for Howell and Brad and Casey to be available tomorrow.
No, I do not. I think AG is now in protocol as of now. I think that's it. I think TB is in protocol as well. And I think that might be it right there. I have a hard time keeping track of it. It changes by the hour.
Have you had any more staff members or any coaches test positive that you are currently protocol?
Yes, we have. Yes.
Like to share?
I do not have a number that I'd like to share.
Okay.
How are they all feeling?
I think it ranges from no symptoms to very light symptoms. I don't think there's been any severe issues beyond, flu-like or common cold, which is good. Obviously the concern, underlying thing is the individual safety of their, family and immediate, folks around them. So that's a positive. Obviously we have to work around the guidelines and protocols set forth. There's not a whole lot we can do, but wait and see if we get the consecutive negative test.
When you reviewed the film from last night, what was the rough distribution between good shots that just didn't make or made,
Mhm.
and shots you didn't like?
I didn't count them all, but we did show quite a few of the ones we didn't like this morning. There were a lot of good ones. I think we were 3 of 11 rather on paint attack threes, and those are the ones we want to generate. So those are great looks. Whether it's a cut, a drive, a roll, post up, or offensive rebound, kick out. Those are the threes we want to generate, and we only made 3 of them. So those I think are great. I'll take those 100 out of 100. I think we were 6 or 5 of 22 on non-paint. Now that doesn't mean they're all off the bounce. Some of those are catch and shoots, which I think for DB, for Corey, working off pin downs, those are good shots for them. The ones we have to kind of stay away from are the ones early in the clock where we're not necessarily spaced or organized, and we could just kind of break it off and get into tough contested 0 or 1 pass possession. And I think those are the ones those are obvious. And, there's plenty of good to greats. And there were some ones where it's easy to say, hey, we can get a better shot than that. And I thought that was pretty much the crux of what we showed this morning. Aside from the defense, the offensive side where, hey, first quarter, first half, the ball was moving. I think we had 7 assists in the first quarter, 15 and a half. We wound up with 22 for the game. And a lot of that is predicated on making shots, which we struggled to do in the second half. I think we scored 41 points, so we didn't make a lot of shots. But I thought we started to stagnate and didn't move the ball as well as we did in that first half.
We're still learning some of your nomenclature, like you are with us, but it's a lot more fun for us than it is for you.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
When you use the phrase "dunk up the game,"
Mhm.
it's really referring to an opponent's defense.
Mhm.
What do you mean?
Well, it could be our defense as well. The changing of coverages, whether you're switching, if you're up the touch, you're blitzing the ball and pick and rolls, whether that's zone or, a 3/4 court, pressure or whatever it may be. Just giving a team different looks throughout, depending on, in the post up, whether you're coming off the pass or off the cutter, if you're designating a guy to come, all those things are kind of different ways to change coverages and give teams different looks. I don't know when that went up. Honestly, I don't.
Do you know who put it up there?
I do not.
Okay.
But
Just some friendly, like.
just a reminder. I don't know if it was one of our staff or could have been the go-go. I don't know. But I like it.
That you're not, like, slapping tape up
Well,
there.
from now on, we will. Everybody.
How much, when we talked to you about how you simplified some of the offensive sets, whenever ago, how much have you seen that kind of make difference?
It's still a work in progress, honestly. I like the pace at which we're playing, but just trying to find the balance of getting it out and getting it up. I think the kick aheads are great. Make or miss, we're getting some really good looks. I think Corey's been benefiting from that, getting to the corners, early kick aheads, drives, corner threes. We saw that a couple times in New York. But finding that balance of, getting it up quickly and just flowing into spots and being disorganized. So I think you got to find the mix. If we can sprint to those spots and look to kick ahead and attack early, I think it's great. But we just don't want to live with early random actions every possession down the floor. So I just think it's a read. We can kick it ahead, but if there's nothing there immediately, all right, let's get back to our spots. So now we can stay organized and flow into secondary offense.
Speaking of Corey, what have you noticed about what type of player he is?
I think he's a guy. He's obviously been around in college. A lot of guys don't stay for 4 years, but I think he's a visual learner. I don't think you have to necessarily walk him through everything. If you tell him one thing or show him, he's capable of doing it. I think other guys process it, after doing it. They have to have done it rather a couple times. Where they have to walk through it on the floor, get the timing, get the spacing. They have to feel it. I think some guys you show it to them or they read it, they've got it. And I think it's just different for different guys, whatever that is. But he's pretty good at, I can just tell him and he'll figure it out.
What is the difference between, if there is any, between the guys who come in after 4 years, whatever, in college and teams?
I don't want to generalize. I think it varies from player to player. I think the one easy thing you can kind of identify with, after 4 years of anything, there's a good chance you've gone through some adversity. You've gone through something. Whether, you in basketball terms, you didn't play right away, you were a redshirt, there's an injury, you had to earn those minutes, from your first year into your fourth. Where I think, if you hadn't had that time, that duration, maybe, that whatever 6 months was, pretty easy for you. Honestly, that's what it is. And now all of a sudden you get to that next level and you're at the highest, point of your career or in your profession. You're at the highest level. And that's when you finally hit that first bout of adversity. That can be challenging for people. I think most of us, we kind of have to work our way up. A lot of times guys, they're 18, 19 years old, and they're rookies in the league, and all of a sudden they made it. They're now at the pinnacle of their profession. So I think, and that's in general terms, but I think that's probably the biggest takeaway for me is just after that span of time, I think you learn how to grow as a player, as a person. And I think you also understand your strengths and weaknesses.
One of the things we have to remind ourselves that Denny has barely played more than the equivalent of a full season. Compared to when to game one of this year, how much more decisive offensively is he?
I think it's night and day. It might not translate into points or points generated, but there's a comfort level. I think there's a trust level, certainly with myself and the staff. And that trust, I think, is starting to accrue with his teammates. He's shown the ability to play making the open floor, play out of pick and rolls, make the right reads. I think because of that, because he's more decisive, guys are, they've learned to space and react to his drives, give him a little bit more room to play. And I think it's good for him. It's good for us.
I'm asking you to remember one specific play. It's not fair to you, given all that you have to do.
Give me a moment. Go ahead.
It's going to be the play where he drove on MD.
Yep.
Used his body as a shoot. Given how imposing MD is and how good of a penalty, how impressive was that simple?
It's understated. I think nothing to, it's not a knock on Embiid, but people don't realize how big Denny is. I mean, honestly, he's got great size. He's strong. We've seen how it translates on the defensive end, but that's another element If you're able to get downhill, he's got the ability to kind of slow play his drives, use angles, create leverage, and get to the rim. At times, we've seen him be explosive, but to your point, playing through contact is an underrated skill. Learning to finish through contact. That doesn't mean you're forcing the issue, but you get in there. There's going to be big bodies. How do you navigate around it or play through it? I think it's a great thing to see, and obviously he's capable of doing it. But he's big too, and I think that bodes well for him.
Is there an update on Ruiz?
Nothing really at this point. We'll see how it goes, and he'll be available tomorrow, as he has been the last 2 games, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow.
Thanks for clarification. You still think it's not likely that he'll play tomorrow, or
I think it's questionable. He's available. It's questionable. I don't know what the PR term is. He's questionable. I'm going with questionable. No, that's it. I'm heartless. I got nothing. Yeah, he'll be there, and he'll be questionable.
All right, Coach, let's switch over to Zoom and we'll start with Chase.
Hey, Wes. I think Neto entered protocol after we talked to you yesterday pregame. I'm just wondering kind of what was the timeline there for him, considering it was so close to when the game started?
Well, we didn't have shoot around yesterday with the 6 o'clock game. So we had testing about 2 o'clock, 2:30, had a 3:15 or 3 o'clock walkthrough. And that's when we all had to test. And that's when they picked up Raul's, picked up TB's positive test. So it's not ideal. It's one of those things where you get the first positive, they have to run subsequent tests to see if that's, a false positive or not. And then we're just waiting. So the timing is never perfect. It is what it is.
And is there optimism that KCP could not be too far away from returning? Because I think it's been a week since he tested.
Yeah, I'm hoping. And once again, at this point for him, he just has to get 2 consecutive negative tests. So we're just kind of waiting, and I'm not sure when that'll be.
And I know you were able to, have the hardship players. I'm sure that helps. But just what has it done to kind of, practicing? I know last year when they didn't have that, it was tough to just play 5-on-5.
Yeah, I mean, it still is, because you're mindful of the workload guys who are, logging those a lot of minutes. You don't want to tax them too much, but we have to get those guys up to speed. A lot of it is pre and post practice, working on terminology, understanding just a few basic sets. We're not going to get too complicated when those guys are on the floor. Our coverages, and just so we, when they're out there, they can kind of blend in seamlessly. But we have to kind of keep it simple on both ends, so at least they can hold water and allow us, give us a little bit more depth.
We'll go to Neil.
Hey, Coach. For Rui, has he progressed to 2v2 or 3v3 full contact with NBA players?
Yes, he has.
How about 5-on-5?
Just haven't had the chance to do it, and it's by my account, and I'm not a medical professional, he looks great. He looks ready. So, I think, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and skip steps, but, I think when the time is right, we'll throw him out there.
And for your hardship guys, do you expect Jordan Goodwin to be available to you tomorrow?
Yes, I do.
And do you foresee signing any more guys from the go-go, like Jaime or anybody, to get more bigs?
Well, in doing that, that means we have more positive tests. So hopefully not. No disrespect to those guys, but if that's the case, and then so be it. We'll find a way to fill the void and get those guys on board.
And with the game yesterday, last time out that you took a little bit more than 4 minutes left, it seemed like Denny and Davis were, getting into it a little bit. I don't know if it was something on the offensive end when Davis took the shot and Denny set a screen. I guess, A, how do you as a coach make sure that, that doesn't, snowball into anything worse? And, B, do you think it's, just kind of frustration building up?
To answer the second part, B, yes, there is frustration. And, obviously you're getting your butt kicked. Everybody's frustrated. It's not going well. So I get it. It's an emotional game. But the first part of your question, you have to address it. And, you know, we addressed it this morning. I addressed it during the timeout last night. It's not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. And I think it's important for those guys to understand that. There's a degree of accountability I think is important, that we can be constructive, you know, when it comes to those relationships and try to hold each other accountable. But on the flip side, you got to come from a place of respect. And, you know, at times it's, you know, the frustration can get the best of you and it doesn't go well. But I don't think it's a underlying problem or, you know, it's going to be a reoccurring issue. Just put it on notice that this is what those expectations are and this is how we handle it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Coach, we'll finish up with Chris.
Hey, Wes, I apologize if you've answered this before. What's the latest on Brad's health and safety protocol in terms of date of return?
Still questionable. We're hoping to have him tomorrow, but we're still waiting. So we'll see. I just have to, you know, wait, let it run its course and get the update as soon as it comes through.
And what's he been able to do in terms of getting in a run, getting in shots?
Yeah, I mean, he can do all of that on his
home?
own. That's the hard part. We can't facilitate that, you know, because he's in the protocol condition. You know, and I know he's got access to a gym and he's able to do those type things. He hasn't played in a week, so if he does play tomorrow, I can't imagine, you know, he's going to be in, you know, peak condition. But I know he hasn't just sat around and done nothing.
Well, I think you know him well enough that when people try to put restrictions on him minutes wise, he's not a real fan of that. So when he does come back, is that a conversation you got to have with him?
No, I think it's, you know, he's if he's available, he'll, you know, we'll look at his whole stretch, his body of work. And, you know, we've had this happen before when he's missed games and come back and you just like, hey, give me a nod, give me a look, I'll get you out and get you back. But we'll pencil him in for his standard, you know, minutes, you know, because, you know, obviously we want him on the floor and I think on the floor is good for us.
Thanks, Wes.
All right, Coach, all set. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.